If you literally were just to take one of these and run out the door, one out of the 50, it's going to help you get fit if you're after 50. And honestly, if you take one of these in your 30s, it's going to likewise help you in your 40s and your 50s. But let's jump in. Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show is going to encourage, challenge, and maybe even provoke you to step outside your comfort zone so that you can take more action and better improve yourself and your health. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I'm all about, is really helping you improve. I'm your host, Mark Avens, in this crazy upside down world that keeps pushing a narrative for good people like you and me to become softer and weaker, sicker, unhealthier, more dependent than ever. The goal and intent of the show is to help you navigate through it so you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Now, I'm going to go through just real quick. I have a couple different types of shows that I do. Brave guest interviews, where we interview people, pretty straight, self-explanatory. People who are brave and are helping people become braver as well. I also have a Brave Q&A. So if you have questions, and it could be related to health, fitness, weight loss, honestly, you can ask me any question you'd like. It could be about faith. It could be about balding. It could be about age. I try to stay away from not giving you any BS. So if you give me a question, you have a question, I'm going to give you a straightforward answer. If you want to ask me a question, shoot it over to me at info at avensfitness.com. Oh, you can also drop a comment in the YouTube. If you drop a comment down below, hey, I have a question about this, maybe I'll feature that on one of the next shows. Next we do is Flavor of the Day. I'll discussing the latest news on health and fitness, picking apart latest diet trends, workouts, fads, pills. And then I give you my honest opinion on those based on the last 3 decades of actually doing this as a professional career, helping people become fit. Lastly, do breakthrough episodes where I take a deeper dive in any areas. And this is sort of a breakthrough episode. We're on a series of top 50 tips to get fit after 50. And as I was actually going through these, I'll just kind of give you a quick, if you didn't catch the other 3 episodes that I have, I think, 3 episodes so far we've recorded. This is the 4th episode on there. These are all things. If you literally were just to take one of these and run out the door, one out of the 50, if you were in the next, say, maybe not 50 days, but the next 50 weeks, a couple of weeks into the new year, if you were to actually work on one of these every week for the next, one each week, different one every week, or you can work on the same one, I guarantee it's going to help you get fit if you're after 50. And honestly, if you're not 50 yet, it's going to help you. You take one of these in your 40s, it's going to help you become fitter in your 50s. You take one of these in your 30s, it's going to likewise help you in your 40s and your 50s. But let's jump in. We are on, I believe, number 31. So this one is 31, the 31st tip to get you fit after 50. And here it is. And I've actually covered this. In fact, the last episode I talked about it, and we did a whole thing. And this is on weight loss medication. Avoid them at all costs. I'm going to say this again. Contrary to wanting to lose the weight in a week or a month, contrary to what all the doctors are telling you, contrary to all the commercials, I'm here to tell you, you need to avoid weight loss medication at all costs. Avoid weight loss medication at all costs. I'm saying this multiple times because I feel like the general census is I've tried so long, my entire life, I've struggled with my weight. I've tried all the things. I've tried the coaches and the diets and all the stuff. I tried. Now I have to do this. This is the only thing that's going to be, well, we heard the same story a few years, maybe a decade ago, when everybody was jumping on the weight loss surgery bandwagon or getting a little nip, a little tuck, a little liposuction. You don't hear anybody talking about that now. This is the next latest, greatest thing, right? Stop jumping on the bandwagon. This one is actually more detrimental because a diet, unlike a diet, you can just go off the diet. Here, you take medication, you start injecting stuff in you that really has not been researched long enough. And to be honest with you, is super lucrative for not you. Like it isn't something that's going to really benefit you. You might lose some weight, but as soon as you stop taking the medication, all the weight, just as all the other diets that we talked about in the 100 years of diets that have been failing you in the last episode, you have to realize that weight loss companies are out to make money. They're not out to solve your problem of weight or excess weight. So please, I'm going to not beg you, because if you're a smart enough person, you'll realize if it sounds too good to be true, it is. You really need to do your due diligence before you start injecting stuff into your body. You really don't know. You're going to take the belief from what your doctor, think about the trust of the medical system, trust of pharmaceutical, trust of doctors these days. That's falling fast. fast and furious, if you will. So you need to become a better advocate for yourself and your health. And one of the ways you can do that is to avoid weight loss medicine at all costs. I'm not going to beat this to a dead horse. I think, again, I'm not going to necessarily change your mind. You're going to have to do your time. But again, I'm not going to say I told you so. I'll say it now. I told you so. You went on it. Now you have all these health issues. All the weight came back, right? Now the doctors talk about weight loss surgery that they talked about before they had this weight loss medication. Do yourself a favor and just avoid this. All right. Next, number 32, keep a food journal. Very straightforward. Keep a food journal. You want to lose weight? You might want to own what you're currently doing right now, what you're currently eating, what you're currently putting in your body. It's very simple. This is a pen. Take a pen out, get a notebook. Yeah, these are cheap. These are like, you can get these anywhere, dollar store, empty notebook. Write down breakfast, cup of coffee, sugar, cream, bagel sandwich or muffin. And then snack, had cereal bar, protein bar. Then lunch, went out to lunch, had McDonald's, French fries, hit cheeseburger, large Coke, had 3 refills on the large Coke, right? You want to add those things in. I guarantee you, if you just simply did that, like if you just kept a food journal enough and then not just write it all down, but to actually look at it at the end of the day and have a really good heart to heart. And even if, say, you're even pretty healthy, you might be eating pretty healthy. You might be just eating too much food. You can take a look. Maybe you're, 1 out of 30 people, that maybe 40 people that aren't eating enough. Maybe you're looking like, I'm not eating anything. And then when I do eat, it's all junk. Does that sound familiar? Keep a food journal. Maybe even look at the time of day that you're eating your food too. Is it going to be helpful? It will help you understand. You want to actually be a good student of your habits. The best way to improve your habits is to become a student of your habits, right? It's kind of like your wife, like when you're married, or your spouse, your husband. You want to know your spouse better and understand them better, then be a student and start studying your spouse, right? It's the same thing. Start studying your habits. You'll become a better consumer, start better understanding what you're doing now with food, like how ridiculous the amount of food or the terrible food habits that you have. You won't never come to terms with if you don't actually own up to. So that's number 32. Number 33, be kind to yourself. Well, this actually goes playing on this journal. Don't beat yourself up. Just, make some observations. Yeah, this isn't going to do me too well. I'm going to probably put some weight on if I keep eating this way, right? Kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up over the years that you maybe struggled. Maybe you've had, a history, family history of obesity. Maybe you have a terrible environment that you live in. Maybe your workplace is really not, like, you're just in a bad spot on all those other things. Be kind to yourself. Now, that doesn't mean just go blow it out of the water and say, you know what? You only live once. I might as well be 100 pounds overweight the rest of my life. Like, that's fine. You can do that. But do be kind to yourself, regardless of where you're at in your weight loss journey. Sometimes not loving yourself, having love for yourself is going to really, really serve you well in the course of being fit over 50. You might realize you can't do things like you did when you're in your 20s or your 30s. Be kind to yourself. Like, it's something I have to work on. Sometimes I beat myself up. I try to become better. I try to keep pushing, but also realize I'm doing pretty good. Really, really great book. So I don't make any proceeds from this. The Gap in the Game by Dan Sullivan. And I'll tell you, this book, what's really great is when you're being kind to yourself, it's not looking back at all the mistakes. In fact, the gap is actually looking ahead where you want to go, but don't make that a gap. Honestly, look at how far you've already come. So if you're not giving up, maybe you've been struggling on your weight for a long, long time and you've beaten yourself up over doing diets and getting off, and maybe even doing weight loss medication, and maybe even starving yourself, doing HCG diets, all that kind of crazy stuff, right? And you're beating yourself up and you're stressed out and you're just kind of miserable in your own skin and stuff. Like, do yourself a favor, like, have some love for yourself. Realize that you haven't given up. Like, maybe you just have to learn how to not make the same mistakes over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. That will drive you insane. All right, let's move forward. Be kind to yourself. Number 34, eliminate as much sugar as you possibly can, which in this day and age, it's funny. You go to the grocery store, everything has sugar in it. Everything has sugar in it. It kind of blew me away. I was really intrigued by looking at, like, I remember the first time I learned that milk has a lot of sugar in it. Low-fat milk has a lot of sugar in it. Yogurt, low-fat yogurt products have a lot of sugar in them. Like, things that are supposed to be, if you think on the front end to be healthy for you, have a lot of sugar. Like, there's a lot of sugar that's going into people's systems. Does it mean to say you got to eliminate all sugar? I honestly can't tell you that I have, but I would say is like over the years, definitely it's way less. We take in way, way too much sugar. Everything has sugar in it. And sugar has been proven to be more addicting. Listen to this, sugar has been proven to be more addicting than cocaine. They did lab rat studies a while ago. I don't know what the studies, you can go look them up if you want. And they actually had lab rats that were in a cage, like a box with cocaine, and they were hopped up on cocaine for I don't know how long. And they actually introduced sugar into the crate or cage or whatever it was in the study. And once the rats got a taste of the sugar, they never went back to the cocaine. Isn't that crazy? Now, I'm sure there's been more research. You don't hear it too much because, again, it's not profitable if you don't eat sugar. Everything has sugar. So if you stop eating things that have sugar in it, start being more mindful, you're going to be a better consumer. It means you're going to probably spend a lot less money and you're probably not going to be as sick. And it means you're probably not going to be on as much medication. It means you're not going to be a customer of the world. Like, think about it. The less you need medication, the less you need weight loss drugs, the less you need, dieting and diet products and diet foods and all that stuff, the less dependent you are on the system and the more independent you become. And that's the purpose that I want to help you with. About being braver today than you were yesterday means you got to be the best you. The way to do that is you got to become more independent. You got to become healthier. You got to stop relying. Oh, well, I'm just older. I just have the aches and pains and joints. It is what it is. I'm just going to be 50 pounds overweight the rest of my life, right? Like that's what you've been told to believe. You don't. In fact, I've met people, have helped people, worked with people that are in their 70s. And for the first time in their entire lives, they actually feel good about themselves. They feel healthier. They're getting off medication. They're able to do active fun things they haven't been able to do before. But, in order to do that, you have to start making some changes. One of the things you can look at, very, very simple to do, probably for you where you're at right now, is to really just start paying attention to how much sugar that you're eating. And if you can reduce that, I'm not saying you have to eliminate it all, but you want to eliminate as much as you possibly can. That's going to very much help you. Sugar is fuel to all the problems in your system. So just keep that in mind. Number 35, get outside and fresh air more. This is pretty straightforward. You get away from the computer to somebody that's been in the online space. This is my business, been for now almost 5 years. And it's been something that was a challenge for me in the beginning, spending all my time inside. And we had that lockdown not too long ago, right? But again, fresh air, breathing in, get away from your phone, get in some vitamin D from that sunshine, right? Go out, be in a crisp air, go for a walk, go for a hike, go for a bike ride, get out and get into the fresh air more. Do yourself a favor. That's going to help you. Get in, talk to people, go with a friend, enjoy some time, be outside, be with nature. That is going to be huge for helping you getting fit after 50. Number 37, stop quitting on yourself. Enough said. Stop quitting on yourself. Most of the people that I've talked to that continue to fail on the health and fitness journey is because they just keep quitting on this stuff. They just keep giving up. Doesn't mean like I've tried hundreds of things and you gave up on all of them. Like there's a reason why you're not fit now because you keep quitting on yourself. Stop quitting on yourself. You have too much at stake. There's too many people looking at your family, your friends, again, yourself. Like say you're in your early 50s and you have, God willing, another 30, 40 years left in your life. Do you want to keep quitting on yourself for another 30, 40 years? Do you want to get to the end of your life and be kind of in the place where you can't really do too much because you're just too old now and you're saying, yeah, I really regret. I really wish I took better care of myself. I really wish I didn't quit on that. I really wish I didn't quit the gym. I really wish I didn't quit getting healthy. I really wish I didn't quit moving more. Stop quitting on yourself. You stop quitting on yourself, you're going to start winning more. That's just the truth. Okay. Number 38, don't be afraid to ask for help. Oh my goodness. Will you ask for help already? Right. And not just ask for help, but actually take the advice that the help gives you. Now it could be whether it be something that I tell you, or it could be that you actually have to dig down into your wallet like you do when you buy a new car, or you're getting some new clothes, or you're going out on a date night, or you're investing in a new home, or like it's time that you not be afraid to ask for help, but then don't be afraid to also invest in yourself to get the help that you need. It still blows me away the little value so many people place on themselves. Such a high value, the place that they put on things like vacations and clothing and going out and, the hair and the makeup I just don't understand. Starting like, honestly, when you're getting help, Go invest in yourself to get that help that you need. I'm not saying you have to do it with me. In fact, chances are you're probably not going to be a good fit. But I can say that there are plenty of people out there that can help you, but they're not going to help you if they don't know you need help. And the only way to get help is to actually ask for help. 39, be protective of your routines and rituals. Ooh, this one's a tough one because it's really hard for a lot of times for people to say no. Be protective of your routines and rituals. This one's pretty straightforward. You need to be able to say no to the things that aren't serving you and say yes to the things that you know will help you. And then number 40, you want to get in 6 to 8 hours of sleep nightly. Get 6 to 8 hours of sleep nightly. This is going to significantly help you. It's been a game changer for me, getting better night's sleep. I don't have it on now, but I have an Oura ring that's kind of monitoring my sleep for me, lets me know how much sleep I get. And that's been huge. I know when I don't get as much sleep, and if I'm up the night and wake up here and there, I know it's definitely hindering my performance level. And it's definitely going to be a factor of you getting fit in your 50s or even in your 40s or even older in your 60s if you're not getting a good night's sleep. 6 to 8 hours is what you need. Listen, that's it for today. And if you enjoyed this episode, that's all I have for this one for 50 Tips After 50. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And if you enjoyed this episode and you want to support the podcast, just subscribe, share the show, and ask a question. Hit me up, ask question YouTube or podcast. Also, you can send it to info@avensfitness.com. And if you want to follow me on any of the social areas, and also we do have a brand new community, My Brave Community. If you want to learn more about that, just hit me up with a message and I'll get access to that for you. Anyway, take care and God bless. We'll see you soon.